Today we are going to discuss about intellectual property rights. What exactly is intellectual property right? We will be discussing today about the basics of what intellectual property right means. Okay, so being the first demo class. So before we move into what intellectual property means, it's very important to understand what does property means. See, property is basically divided into two types: real property and personal property. Real property means all the tangible properties. Tangible means whatever properties we can feel, we can touch, we can see those properties. For example, our land ownership, the rights on our land, real estate, whatever improvements we make on our land, be it construction of a building, construction of a house, planting of trees. So all those things come under real property. While personal property means the intangible properties such as goodwill, intellect, shares, the properties which we cannot see, but those actually are our properties. How? That I will be explaining through intellectual property rights. Now, if we are, if we someone asks us to define property, what exactly will be the definition? Because many of in our mind we always think property means whatever. Property means whatever land we have or whatever assets we have, that we call. We never consider these intangible properties as our properties usually. So what exactly does the definition of property mean? What exactly the term property mean? Well, property means a bundle of rights flowing from the concept of ownership and possession. So why do we define property as a bundle of rights? So uh, right now, take the example: you have a land which is your property. The land is on your on in your name. So what all things you can do in your land? You can construct a house. You have the right to construct a house. You have the right to lease that land. You have the right to transfer that land to someone else. You have the right to give that land on rent to someone else. You have the right to burn that land, do whatever legal activities you want to do on your land or according to law. So these are the rights which you get because that is your property, that is your land which is there as your asset. So for that reason, property is nothing but a bundle of rights. If you have a property, that means you have a bundle of rights over that thing or that entity. So that is what we mean by property, a bundle of rights. Now, coming to the intellect property, which is an intangible property. See, basically, what does what do we mean by the term intellect? It means the creation of our human mind. Whatever is created by our human mind, that is what we term as intellect. And intellect property means the property which is created because of our using our intellect. That is what we term as intellect property. So now intellect property can be of various types. Like, it can be any inventions, a new creativity, uh, it can be some commercial name or some logo or image that can identify, make us identified. It can be some symbols. It can be some literary or artistic works. For example, the movies that we see, the persons who create the movies, the story writer, the screenplay, they put their intellect, they put their own imagination and own thoughts into it. So that becomes the intellect property. Now, for example, you might have read the book of J.K. Rowling, or you might have read storybooks, novels, right? So the authors of those novels and storybook, they have used their intellect, their own creativity, their own mind, and prepared that and made that, published that book. So that becomes their intellect property. So, in one word, if we have to define intellect property or the intellect property, it would be like the property which is the creation of a human intellect. And with this intellect property, as I said, property means a bundle of rights That means that with our intellect property that we have, there are certain rights. So for that, we call it as intellectual property right. And in simple terms, intellectual property right can be defined as the exclusive right to commercially exploit the property created by his mind for a particular period of time. That means the whatever intellect we use and create and whatever property we get, like our intellect property, be it our own artistic, maybe we might be writing a song, we might be publishing a book, so that property is our exclusive right to commercially exploit that property. If a author who writes a book, he publishes it under his own name, no other person can print the same book. So that is his exclusive right to commercially exploit that property. That means he can earn through that property. A movie that is being made, that is commercially, a producer who produces the movie, the director, the story writer of that movie, they use their intellect and make it their property. No other person can earn from that property except the people who are um, who are included in that property, or to whom the right has been transferred by the person who has created that property, right? So that is the reason it is said that intellectual property right can be defined as the exclusive right, the only right, the only person who would be having the right to commercially exploit that property, which is to commercially exploit, to earn money for himself, which is created by his mind for a particular period of time. Now, why there is a time frame, that I will be explaining later on when we will be discussing the various kinds of intellectual properties. Okay, so I'm hope that I'm clear till the definition of intellectual property. Okay, so coming to the next part, why there is a requirement of intellectual property rights, why there is such a law regarding intellectual property, why there is a need to protect the intellectual property. Well, there are various reasons, as you can see, to promote innovations and inventions. See, if we start protecting the rights of a person, the intellectual property rights of a person, that means the person, that will impact have an impact on the society, the small scale industrialists, the people who usually are scared to invest their time into creating something new, something innovative. They won't invest their time if they don't get the recognition or their rights are protected. So for that reason, the intellectual property rights are protected, so that it will promote, and instigate, or like, uh, it will try to influence them to make new innovations and inventions, so that they can be recognized, so that they can earn through that. So that is the reason the intellectual property rights are given, to promote innovations and inventions. Second, to encourage people, as I said, to encourage people to invest more in research and development. See, inventions and innovations is first part. The second is the people who are already researching and developing for something new. It would encourage them. It could give them the confidence that yes, if we research more and develop more, tomorrow we will have a recognition in the society. Yes, we will be protected by the intellectual property rights. So that would encourage them, and as a whole, the society will be developing, and the economy of the society will be developing. That is the reason the fifth point is to maintain economic growth, because when there are innovations, when there are new inventions, definitely the economy of the society will be growing. This is the reason why countries like China are considered to be, economically advanced or more. Because why? Because daily, on a daily basis, there are innovations, inventions, research, development. So that is the reason. Third point is to reward the person for his hard work and innovations. So this is another reason why these are protected, because if a person is investing something, is creating something new or innovative, It is not a work of one day or one month. That person might have invested his years and years of time and hard work for developing that innovation or creating that invention. And if he doesn't get any reward at the end, then he won't be having that encouragement to work for that or to work for innovation. So for that reason, the intellectual property right protections are given. Then the fourth point is to protect the person or company from being exploited by its competitors. See, right now, let's take an example. A medicine company prepares a medicine, for example, looking at this current situation, let's say a medicine company, they prepare the vaccine for COVID-19, right? And right now, they don't have any intellectual property right over it. They don't have, there is no intellectual property in India that protects the intellectual property. So tomorrow what will happen? All the big companies, they would, without the permission of that companies which produce the vaccine, they would start making that vaccine themselves and give it their name. So it, that means the person who has actually created, he won't be getting any reward for that. He, and in fact he will be exploited by its competitors. Like, if for the time, the dedication, the hard work that the company who originally made the vaccine, he invested something, he must have invested in research and development, and he won't be getting any return from that. While other companies, without any research, they would be getting the final product and they will be selling under their own brand name and at a much cheaper cost. So indirectly it will be exploiting the person or the company who has made that the vaccine. So for that reason, the intellectual property rights are important, so that it can protect the person or the company from being exploited by the competitor. And the fifth point, as I already said, it helps in maintaining the economic growth. Now coming to the next part, types of intellectual property. Okay, here I have given five major types, but there are many other intellectual properties which will be, we will be discussing in subsequent sessions. So the first one is copyright. Okay, so the first three, the copyright, patents, and trademark, those are the most important intellectual property rights. No doubt, trade secrets, geographical indications, they are even a part of intellectual properties. But basically, when we talk about intellectual property, we usually discuss about copyright, patents, and trademarks. The first is copyright. Copyright means, these are the rights or the protection which are given to creativity and literally an artistic works. For example, the people who make movies, photographers, book writers, authors, so these copyright gives protection to them. It grants the protection to them under the Copyright Act. So one of the major example, like we will be even discussing case laws as I speak, give a brief idea about what these intellectual properties means, and I will even be differentiating between them. So in copyright, there is a very famous case law of Apple versus Microsoft. Yes, the Apple company and the Microsoft company. So Apple and Microsoft, they had entered into an agreement where Microsoft was helping Apple to develop the Macintosh software, the software which we are using right now, even in our Apple Macs and tabs. Okay, so Microsoft helped Apple because of an agreement between them, and Apple, as a result, gave certain rights to Microsoft to use the user interface. It was related to a user interface, the graphical user interface. So Apple gave the right to Microsoft to use certain components of its graphical user interface in its own software, that is the Windows software. So, but that was just for Windows 1. So when Microsoft started developing the Windows 2, the next version of Windows, Apple found that most of the components of the or the graphical user interface of Microsoft Windows 2 is somewhat similar to the Apple's Macintosh software. So what Apple did is that Apple went and filed a case, a suit against Microsoft, alleging that Microsoft has infringed the copyright of Apple. So then what the court did was that the court actually, as it went through, the court found out that no, the components were not similar that was used by Microsoft, and at the end of the day, the case of the Apple was dismissed. But this is a very famous case law to the fact that copyright, regarding the copyright protection that is given, the rights which are given for the creativity, literary and artistic works. So right now, if Apple has created something and Microsoft would have copied the entire thing, then Microsoft would have infringed the intellectual property of Apple. But in this case, somehow the court found that Microsoft hasn't copied, so the case was dismissed. Now, coming to the next part, patent. Patent is usually granted to new inventions. Okay, so right, see, there is a very thin line of difference between copyright and patents, because copyright is granted to creativity and patent is granted to inventions. So usually we get a question, such type of question, that what is the difference between copyright and patent, where copyright one is protecting creativity and the other is invention. So what is the thin line of difference between creativity and invention? So basically, when we talk about copyright, copyright protects the ideas. If we have an idea and we use that idea to invent something or make something, then even our idea is protected. Like Apple, in order to develop the Macintosh software, the user interface that Apple developed, that is the idea of Apple, that yes, my user interface should be in such a way, it should be shown in such a way, the design might should be in such a way. But in patent, what happens is it is all about the invention that is made. For example, if the if we talk about a software in total, then that would be patented. But if we talk about the components of that software, then the idea that works, so that will be protected under copyright. So copyright speaks about the ideas or the protection of the ideas, while patent is about a new invention. And here there is a very recent case of 2009 that was between Bajaj and TVS, the motorcycle manufacturers. So what happened is that Bajaj invented this technology called the DTSI technology, or the twin spark technology, which was not there earlier. It was a new invention and Bajaj patented it. But TVS, subsequently what TVS did, TVS even used that technology of Bajaj in its own bike and started manufacturing a new bike with its own logo, TVS logo, but it had the same twin spark technology, and TVS had not taken the permission of Bajaj. So there, Bajaj filed the case, and Bajaj won that case as his patents rights were infringed. Now coming to the third part, the trademarks. See, right now we saw that creativity are literally or artistic works are protected under intellectual property. We even have found out that new inventions are protected under intellectual property. But sometimes you might have seen whenever or wherever you see the logo of Audi, you could recognize that yes, this is the Audi logo. If you see the logo of Apple, you recognize that yes, this is an Apple phone or a MacBook. So there are certain logos or distinct signs. For example, you see Adidas or anything, Crocs, you see, you find a distinct logo through which you recognize that company or you recognize that product. So it is very important to protect that event, because if those logos are not protected, tomorrow any person, I can even make a phone, make a design, keep the Apple logo and sell it at a much cheaper cost, and people thinking it to be an Apple phone would buy it. So it is very important to protect the signs and logos, and that is protected through the trademark law. So that's why trademark is usually granted to distinct signs and logos. And this case has actually, this is a very interesting case, the Yahoo versus Akash Arora case. So what happened is that we all know about the Yahoo search engine, and we know how the Yahoo is written in the search engine. What Akash Arora did was that he even formulated a similar search engine with the name of Yahoo India. So what Yahoo did was that he filed a case for trademark infringement. So when the court saw, even if it was internet domains, but they have the distinct signs, Yahoo had its distinct sign. And right now, if a person, a common man, uh, enters into this search engine and he sees Yahoo and Yahoo India, and both Yahoo written in the same way, then definitely no one would think that Yahoo and Yahoo India are some two different domain names or two different owners are using that, right? So there was an infringement of the trademark. So that is the reason in this case Yahoo won. So that is, this is what we are going to discuss about the trademark law. Now coming to the next part, the trade secrets. We definitely, you all might have been to KFC's, or you might have had a bottle of Coca-Cola. So till date, we no one knows what exactly are the ingredients of Coca-Cola and KFC. Like, although we know what are included in it, but the spices or the special secret, there's a secret ingredient which neither Coca-Cola nor KFC have disclosed to anyone in order to protect their product. So those products or those informations are protected under this trade secrets. So this is what we mean by protecting the intellectual property through trade secret. And the fifth one, sorry, is the geographical indications. See, all these are the copyright, be it copyright, patent, trademark, trade secrets, these are usually given to a particular product or intellect. But when we talk about geographical indications, these are granted to specific geographical origins. We all know about how famous the Darjeeling tea is. So Darjeeling tea is the geographical indication. So, like whenever we get a tea uh, from Darjeeling, it is indicated as Darjeeling tea. It maintains a, as a brand name in itself. Like same what is the Banarasi silk sari. And recently we have been fighting over Rashogolla in between Odisha and Bengal, right? So that is for the geographical indication, for a distinct geographical indication, right? So these are just a brief idea about what we are going to deal in intellectual property rights, what we are going to discuss in copyright. In the next class onwards, we will be talking about what exactly is copyright, what exactly is patent, and so on. We will be discussing each and every type of property, intellectual property right, in detail. So that's it, because this is just an introductory class. So I just wanted to give a brief idea about what intellectual property right means, and what do we exactly mean by these types of, what are the different types of intellectual property. Yes, I missed something. uh, I was talking about, this particular created by a mind for a particular period of time. So why did I mention this timeline? See, right now, let's take an example. For example, let's talk about this, any of the cases you can say. For example, let's talk about the twin spark technology of Bajaj, in the case of Bajaj. See, if there is no particular timeline is given, then no other company can ever produce that product or use that invention without the permission of the company who produced that invention. And in that case, the company would be using its monopoly in the market. That is, the company, whatever he wishes to charge, he can charge it. let's take in a other way, in a simple example, taking the current scenario. For example, a pharmacy company in India finds the vaccine for COVID-19, and then he gets it patented because it is a new invention, his own invention. And if there is no particular timeline and he doesn't grant permission to other companies or gives its the details of the invention or the details of the vaccine to other medical companies, then other pharmacy companies cannot produce that vaccine, right? So when other companies cannot produce that vaccine, this company which has produced that vaccine, the company would start selling it at whatever price it wants to, because that is his invention. He has patented it. It can be 100 rupees, it can be 1,000 rupees, it can be 10,000 rupees, whatever that company wishes to. So that's why patents are granted. Like every intellectual property, there's a fixed period of time is granted, so that that person or that company can, yes, extract whatever amount of money that company wants within that time frame. And after that, it will be open in the market so that other companies can even produce it. And this similar thing has happened in case of, I think, the vaccine for the medicines for cancer. As far as I have read, when cancer, the medicine for cancer, like it is not curable, but there are certain medicines. So when those were invented, so that was being sold at a very high price, where normal people or the common man were not able to buy or bear the expenses of that medicine. But slowly, when different companies or pharmaceutical companies started preparing that, then it was easily available at a much cheaper price. So this is the reason why I mentioned period. For a particular period of time, these intellectual property rights are given the exclusive rights to be commercially exploited. I think I'm clear about this. Hello. Hello. Okay, so now if anyone has any question to ask, then you guys can ask me. Any doubts?
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir, can our the speech and the expression be protected under IP laws?
speech and expression. See, expression,
Yes.
see, just because you are, speech is not protected, because speech, you cannot, speech is not an idea, right? And expression, until and unless your expression is exhibited or shown. See, it's not that I would think of an idea and then I would think that, yes, it will be copyrighted. No, I have to copyright it. I have to work for it. I have to go, I have to express, I have to show that idea to someone, or so that, you know, the, like there's an for every, like for the patent, for copyright, there are different forums which will grant us the right. So we have to approach them, we have to make them believe that what are the ingredients, whether it fulfills all the ingredients that are required for copywriting it or patenting it. And once those ingredients are fulfilled, then only we will be getting. Just a mere thought in the mind won't be protected until and unless it is expressed or we utilize it.